Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Sunday, and give me a moment because I will be sharing this with others. So just please give me one moment, and I will have this set up. How is everyone's Sunday today? I hope everyone is having a good weekend. Um, and today I got Keegan joining with us. So he expressed yesterday that he is interested in learning about the tarot. And while I'm setting up, let me move this down just a little bit. While I'm setting us up the video, why don't you give us a little explanation of what made you interested in the tarot? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
It's just a way to help people.
It's a way to help people?
Mm-hmm.
You said you really got inspired yesterday during the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
What interested you when I was talking about like the history and stuff of the tarot?
I'm not sure.
It's just all of a sudden you're just like very interested in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say whatever every one of us is drawn to it in different ways. That's for sure. I was actually kind of dragged to a workshop for the first time. Like a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you got to come. This girl is really, really great." And she was saying, like, "This is a really, really good class," and so on and so forth. And I was like, "Fine, I'll go." I really wasn't into tarot. I kind of was hands off of it for a while, so it took me a little bit. So, and then once I met the teacher, I really liked her on a personal level, and it kind of led to, my exploration of the tarot later. Oh, I see I have a couple of people following us. Hello, Angela. Hello, Celeste. I hope all is well. All right, so today, of course, I have Keegan join with me because I am now teaching him how to read the tarot. And so he's going to be shadowing me more and more. And a lot of people already see him with me in a lot of places. So we have a young scholar here, definitely learning to the tarot and all of its mysticism behind it. So I said our first reading this evening would be pretty much on the global consciousness. And actually, Keegan gave me the idea for it. We're really going to look into basically where is everyone today. Okay, and of course, I'm not talking about location. I'm talking about where is the everyone's mindset. How are we connected? How are we interconnected to one another? How is basically the mood of the world? Maybe you can explain this a little better than I can.
Kind of like, where are we in our evolutionary process, sort of thing, as a collective whole.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that for sure. Yeah, we got a lot of world events going on right now. Things are getting harder and harder. It seems for a while things were going a lot easier for the world, and it's just it's kind of digressed over the last, I'd say, decade or so. So, what I want to look at is, like when you mentioned it, talk about the global consciousness, is we're going to look at basically what's affecting us and how it's affecting us in these ways. So, I'm going to do a simple 5-card reading, where I'm going to do, on the left side, I'll do influences. And the right side will be possibilities, like where kind of what's going. Above it would be like the overarching dark cloud that's hanging over everything. The bottom card will be the supports, what is uplifting everyone. And then the centers is going to be kind of the general feel for the world today. Okay? I'm not using any spreadboards today. I still have stuff packed up from Acadiana Metaphysical Festival, which was yesterday. And to those who I saw, great seeing you. And to those who I missed, I do apologize. I was very, very busy yesterday. It was an amazing, amazing turnout. Oh, I think they stopped counting at the door at 500 because that was the number of tickets they had for door prizes. That's just amazing that so many people came out. The food trucks all ran out of food. We were just not expecting such a large turnout, and the love of the community for sure. So thank you all that were there. And if you missed us this year, we're all of us, all the vendors, all of the people who are there that did workshops and such. We are all around. We are your community. We are still here, and there will be lots of events coming this summer and this fall coming. So definitely look forward to seeing all of you again. Okay, so as I said, I'm doing a reading on the global consciousness level and kind of seeing where we're at, where we're going. So go ahead and cut these cards for me. Just separate them. Just flip them. Like, separate them. Where you feel they separate. All right. Let's see. It'll be your fault. All right. Let's see. So, influences. So, in the influencing, we have the Eight of Swords. Ironically, this card came up a few times yesterday in readings. Alright, so I'm going to give a very negative background on the Eight of Swords and what it means to me. When I see the Eight of Swords, I immediately think that this woman is feeling trapped, right? It's heavily mental, on the mental state, intellectual state. So it's all in the mind. But the problem is she's bound. She's surrounded by swords like she's in a prison. And she's blindfolded. The problem is that it's not an authentic trap, okay? So she's not actually in this prison. She's putting herself in this mental prison, okay? The
blindfold kind of represents people not seeing the truth of life, and
that is true. She's saying she's not seeing, but the blindfold's actually very loose. Mm-hmm. She could literally take it off in any moment.
Yeah.
So she's blinding herself to the truth in that sense. Her hands are bound, but they're actually loose. She could just easily untie herself. Mm-hmm. The swords do not surround her, so she's not actually in a prison. She's just assuming she is, right? So, for this card, influence us, I really feel is where we're at today in the world. Yeah. Or what is influencing us are our attitudes in the world today. A lot of us feel attacked. A lot of people feel attacked. And it's because we have a very diverse world community now. We have a very open community that now smaller communities are willing to speak up and say, hey, I don't like what's going on. I don't like this happening to me. And want to make changes. On the flip side, the more dominant communities feel that they're losing something because their influence is not as great. Their way of thinking is being pushed aside. The traditional ways of doing things is kind of being pushed aside in favor of new avenues and new changes and new ways of thinking.
And with science and stuff,
exactly,
we start to disprove a lot of things that were almost superstitious.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the religious realm. So I definitely see this card as applying to everybody. Because, again, remember, and I posted about this earlier, about perceptions. We're all seeing things from different perceptions, right? And we're all kind of feeling it from a different perception. So right now, a lot of us, and it seems like the global consciousness, it just feels kind of attacked, right? We're bearing a heavy weight. And that's what's influencing the current situation. Now let's look at our future possibilities. Here we have another sword. It's in reverse, okay? King of Swords. This is like the ruler of intellect, right? So the mastermind, in a sense. And if this is the global consciousness, the problem with it is it's in reverse. Now, with crook cards, things being in reverse don't mean that they're opposite meaning usually. It just means more of a weakened state. So I'm going to say that we're not really going to approach things as rationally as we should be. That's our future. And so this is what comes with these double-edged swords. And this is what could happen in this situation. With the King of Swords reversed, and we're talking about a global consciousness, we could be seeing people not approaching things logically. And we could say that people are approaching things more about the way we feel.
Very reactive.
Very reactive instead of being what's rational. Exactly. Reactive instead of rational. And that's definitely going off into our future and our possibilities. So that could be kind of grim in that sense. Let's look at what's the dark cloud hanging over all of us. Ooh, we have the King of Cups in reverse. Now, for me, the King of Cups in reverse is actually kind of a bad sign. Okay, so Cups, King of Cups is, the ruler of emotion, has total mastery of the spiritual and stuff like that. With it being in reverse, for me, and the imagery of the cup says it all. It's about an outpouring. It's about pouring all of it into something and not really getting a lot out of it in return. So with the King of Cups, emptying this out, that's that kind of like dark cloud. A lot of people are feeling exhausted. They feel like they put a lot into something and they're just not getting a lot in return, right? And this is heavily on the emotional side. So we're looking at this exhaustion, right, of people that feel they try and try and try to get things done, to get things...
So maybe the old way is not working yet.
Maybe the old way is not working. That is very, very true. The old thing of the world, the way it's set up, perhaps it's not a problem. But it's also very, in a sense, with this cup that way, maybe we're in a transition period that's also very stressful. Because transition periods are usually very, very stressful. So I'm going to pick up the card at the bottom. What is supporting us right now? My goodness, another sword. All right, so here we have the Three of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is what's really, really supporting us, like what's kind of uplifting us, and that's the position I'm using it. So what is uplifting us with the Three of Swords? For the imagery here, we have three swords piercing the heart. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that's heartache and stuff like that. But I want you to realize it's not a wholly emotional thing. This is a rationalization, okay? This is being upset because something you thought was true isn't, kind of situation. This is trying to prove yourself or being, again, exhausted from research or trying to create something, right? And the Three of Swords in that reverse, I would say it's being supportive. It's going to be more of a situation where, hold on, I'm trying to think of exactly how to use the words for this. Where we're going to have everything we need to make it through. And the problem is we may not feel we're making a lot of headway again, right? With it being in reverse. So not total, like, annihilation kind of a sense, where you feel like, you're totally broken down. But the sense here is we're being still held up by the fact that we have the tools at our disposal. We have our reasoning behind it. We have our science. We have these things that are technology, these things that can push us forward. But it just seems we're a little stagnant, okay? So we have the tools at our disposal again, but we're just not making the headway that we had hoped for, okay? So with that being a support, it's basically saying you have it, we got to just keep moving. We got to keep moving through the mud and the muck, right? You just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, final card is going to represent kind of like what we see all this holistically. And here we have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a guy on top of the hill, and there's a bunch of other sticks coming out of him, and he's fighting off the other sticks. Basically, it's a person that has the high ground, and they're maintaining the high ground. Yes, Celeste, you're absolutely right. Overthinking. That's 100%. I agree with that last part. So I would say that for a reasonable outcome here, those people who have the moral high ground are the ones that are going to achieve here. Now, when I say moral high ground, in a sense, I'm referring to the people that universally are in the right. Okay? So I'm not saying any side currently today is right or wrong, or who is at fault for anything. I'm just saying in the end, it's going to come to light who is the victors are going to be those who are the right, people who are in the right in the beginning.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
So what's that?
The meek shall inherit the earth.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, I would say that for sure. Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. That's a good way of saying it. I didn't think about that. So, overall, while it's a little bit bleak, it looks like we're going to struggle for a bit. Our global consciousness is just, if the global consciousness were an ocean, we would say it's going through a hurricane. Okay, it is shifting. It is going back and forth. There's a lot of turmoil in the waters. Things are being churned up.
And you're saying those on the right side of history basically will be.
Yeah, well, yes. After all is said and done, the victors will be the ones who are the correct ones. Those will be the moral high ground. Okay? Because sometimes, and I hate the reason I mentioned, I kind of objected to the history part. And sometimes the writers of history are not the ones who were right.
Yeah.
They were just the ones with the bigger guns. So, or the bigger sword. We did see all those swords.
Or in this case, maybe the most AI.
Hey, AI might take us over. You never know. Who knows, right? All right. So global consciously again, y'all. It looks like we're kind of in a murky area right now, which is kind of evident with the world around us. It doesn't seem things are gonna get too much better, but there is hope for the future. It is hope for the future. Things will get slightly better as we move along. And those who are in the right will be right. Those who have their moral high ground. So, and like I said, I'm not picking sides. I'm not putting a spotlight on anyone specifically. So, we're looking at those who the world will judge us. Basically, the justice will prevail in the end. I would put it that way. All right, y'all. So as I traditionally do with these is that at this moment, I typically do readings for other people. So if you are joining us live, and again, if you're maybe following on another Facebook group or such, if you can jump on the main one, otherwise I won't see your comments, okay? So, and I know this is being shared by myself and some friends of mine, so I know a lot of people are watching, but I don't see a lot of people live in the chat. Now, again, if you are interested in receiving a reading, please let me know in the chat, and I can do a reading for you. The readings are absolutely free this evening. And again, I'm just doing some short readings this evening. I'm going to do a very similar 5-card spread for each one that asks. And we're not going to get into too many details with specifics, like, you know, someone asks about marriage or money or something like that. Let's just keep a general feel for what's surrounding you and guiding you at this moment, okay? So if anyone would like a reading, please let me know. Yes, Quiet. Individual named Quiet Noise, Silent Voices. I will definitely do a reading for you. Let me go ahead and shuffle these cards. So I kind of got my camera off to the side because I need a larger area to put the cards in. So I just want to show y'all that when I typically shuffle these, that I always do reverse one side. And the reason we reverse one side is because I do read reversals. And we want to make sure that we're getting a good mix of those reversals when we read the cards. I also want to make sure that we shuffle pretty well and not end up with the same cards twice. Okay? And again, it doesn't matter which side you flip over, we pick a side to flip over. Alright? And I'm reading with my Rider Waite Smith deck today. It's a reprint of the 1920s version of the Rider Waite Smith deck. It's a redrawing called PMC, and because no original actually exists today, and these redrawings are actually as accurate as we can get to the original. So I love this deck. It's got a lot of muted colors that you typically don't see in redrawings of the Rider Waite Smith deck, which is what I like because it's what was the original intent of Pamela Coleman Smith, the artist who drew the cards. She was a remarkable woman, very interesting lady. If y'all are not familiar with Pamela Coleman Smith and her art, please look her up. I just messed this. Let me fix this. Please look her up. She is amazing. All right. Before I know it, let's go ahead and begin with your reading. So, I'm going to have a card in the past that's going to be like what's currently influencing you. I'm going to have a card that's going to be the future possibilities. Then I'm going to have overarching, like kind of the dark cloud that's kind of hanging over you. But then at the bottom, I'm going to have what's supporting you, what's bringing you up. And then in the center, we're going to do kind of a results card. That's going to be kind of the overall feeling. All right, so the first card here is the Knight of Wands. And with the Knight of Wands in reverse, those things that are influencing you, I feel, are passions. Maybe some passions that have not been fully idealized. Okay, so this could be things that you focused on, but not really truly planned for. Right. So it could be events in your past that just didn't come to fruition because you really didn't put a lot of planning into it. Okay, things kind of fell apart because you could have done more with making sure you were successful, shall I say. And that's kind of weighing over you right now. Okay, those things are kind of guiding where you're going. And I hope that makes sense to you just yet. So let's see what the possibilities are now. Ooh, the Chariot. So despite your I hate to use the word failures, but despite possible failures in the past to really get where you want to go, the Chariot is telling us you're going to get there, and you're going to get there and be very successful at it. So, so far, the advice the two cards are giving you is that you really, really need to sit there and plan out where you want to go and how you want to do what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so you got to think it through, rationalize it. Okay, let's see what's kind of hovering over you, like what's really kind of the dark cloud that's kind of influencing this situation. Ooh, we have the Justice card. So I would say that what's kind of influencing your situation is maybe some kind of imbalance, some kind of injustice you feel has been done to you. And of course, when I say injustice, I'm not talking about like a legal system necessarily. We're talking about maybe, and not necessarily just a wrong that was done to you. There's some kind of inequity that you may have in your life. Maybe you feel you don't have the same opportunities as other people. Maybe you feel that you've been set back because of something. Maybe this Knight of Wands is what set you back, and now you're having trouble going where you're going to go. So it seems that these two cards are very much playing onto one another. That in the past you have situations where things didn't go very well because it was poorly planned. Okay, and you're still kind of worried about it. You're still thinking about it, right? It's still kind of weighing over you. Let's look at what's supporting you, though, at this moment. All right, so I would say with this card, you are very much a go-getter. So it seems that you're very ready to get things done, and you don't really think a lot of it through. But what's really, really good for you is that you are really, really good with other people and working with those other people to get things done. You're not the planner type. You're not the type that's kind of the intellectual behind the curtain. You're the person that's willing to be out there and get stuff done, do stuff, and maybe didn't plan it up. What this is saying, maybe you didn't plan it all the way through, so it doesn't really go that great. But what's really in your favor is you have the personality that of charisma, and that's what the Chariot says too, that you're able to convey. Okay, so I always, with these two cards, them playing off of each other, I would say you're probably a good salesman in that kind of sense. That you're able to make some accomplishment in that realm, working with people, but and other things are just not that structured around you. So you do well without structure, but you could do better if you applied the structure, is what it's basically saying. And let's look at the last part. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So with me, this being an outcome with the Queen of Pentacles with reverse, meaning that it's going to take you some time to get where you need to go, and you may not be out of some money in that situation. You may be giving up some things that is going to require you some resources. It's going to require resources that are maybe not easily disposable. Okay, to you. So not necessarily money, but resources. Okay, maybe calling in favors and those kind of things. And that's what's going to get you to where you got to go. So there's going to be a little bumps in the road. But again, it seems that the focus right here needs to be really, really plan out where you're going. Because if you don't, it could lead to some kind of chaos. Okay. Overall, good reading though. Please don't take my reading as criticism. I'm just letting you know what the images from the cards reveal. And I hope this makes some sense to you. But again, it seems that only here with support, you do have a lot going for you in terms of connections and networking with individuals and really getting things done. You're a go-getter. But it's saying that you do have a situation that is a little kind of out of whack and just kind of unfair to you. You feel it's very unfair. Plan for yourself. That's the big thing. That's the overarching influence here, is make sure you plan and invest correctly. And I think that's what the Queen and the Pentacles is saying. And some kind of investment, whether it's time, money, other resources, is going to be necessary. But in the end, the Chariot is telling us you're going to be accomplished and you're going to be celebrated for that accomplishment. So you will reap your reward. And I hope that makes sense to you. Oh, and you're welcome. Anyone else would like a reading this evening? So again, I do these readings for free on Sunday evenings. I do basic readings. If you are interested in a more private reading, I do those as well. And I do have my assistant here, Keegan, who is also learning the tarot and will be working with others and definitely learning with the tarot, especially with me doing online ones like this. Well, Taylor, yes, I can do a reading for you. Let me go ahead and shuffle these cards. So as I say, I like to really shuffle them really well, making sure they're mixed really, really well. I'm trying to remember the name of the study, and I mention it often, but I don't ever name who it is. There's a study that says when you have 78 cards, and according to statistics, if you shuffle them 7 times, you actually shuffle them as many times as this, that 7 times that you're going to have as many as if you would have shuffled them infinite number of times. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I really enjoyed MetaFest, everyone. And if anyone's following from outside the area, Kitty at a MetaFest was yesterday in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it was really amazing. I loved interacting with everyone. I really wish I would have gotten the chance to interact with more of the vendors and the participants. I literally read back to back to back for 7 hours. So I am a little exhausted from yesterday, I must admit. That's why I'm doing some short readings today and not some very long readings, because I read, I think, for 14 people yesterday. And that was a lot. I've never actually done such a marathon like that before. So, and again, going back to shuffling, if you notice, I keep kind of switching over one side or the other, because you want to make sure that you get a good mix of cards that are upright and right side out. Upright and reversed. Okay, so Taylor, I'm going to do a reading for you, another general reading. The past card will be our influences. The future card will be your possibilities. Above will be kind of the dark cloud that hangs over you. The bottom card is going to be what is supporting you through your current situations. And in the center will be our results, like how will things turn out for you. And this is just very general overview of everything, okay? So there's nothing specific. We're not focused on a specific aspect of your life. We're just looking at you generally. All right, so in the past, we have the Six of Swords in reverse. So with this card, we typically say that this is, you have trouble moving on from something. The swords are typically very intellectual, so this is very mental. It's something stuck in your head that you just can't get past, right? You try to rationalize it, but you can't figure it out, right? And you're having trouble moving on from that, right? It's not, you just can't get past it. It's like a conundrum, and you can't make sense of it. So that's heavily influencing you, okay? And you really, really struggle with it. It's something that happened, and you don't understand why it happened the way it happened, and it's kind of really bogs you down in that sense. You can't get past it.
Is it maybe time for them to deal with the baggage part of the emotional part of it?
I would say that yes. So the reason I would really say that, and I'm going to look at the imagery of this card here. So you see how it's a boat in water. The water symbolizes that emotion. And again, y'all, remember the imagery of something. When you turn water upside down, what's going to happen? It pours out. So like you're saying there, it's pouring out. It needs to be dealt with. There is water in this card. So even though this is an air card being swords, the water in the card is about the emotion behind it. And there are those things in the card. When you look at the imagery, these images were drawn with intent. Like there's a reason there's water being shown there. There's a reason they're in a boat, not just walking across land. So yes, there is a very big emotional aspect. This thing has to be dealt with, moved on from. All right. And of course, there's a wand here. Of all things they could post, they're using a gondola rather than using a paddle or something else. That wand is showing a journey and a passion. Okay, so this is something you were very passionate about, right? Here's our other wand. So, here's another wand. So your future is, it looks like you're planning, and you're getting actually pretty good at the planning stages. And you're ready to. It looks like you're going to be moving forward with what your plans are. So I will say that while this in the past has weighed you down and caused some strife, you're going to be moving on from that, and it's going to be good. And you're going to work it out. So everything that Keegan and I both just mentioned here is, look at him idealizing the pole. It's like, I finally got it done. I am ready. I am finally ready. Because if we read the suit of the wands, it's all about planning for a journey. And then there's some trials and tribulations with this journey. But the Page of Wands really embodies that, the beginning of something new, a transitional journey, right? Into, hey, everything has been completed that needs to be, and now I'm actually ready.
So in the first one, the wand was kind of like helping them get through, and then in this one, they're appreciating the wand because you have gotten through with it, right?
100%. I agree with that. Absolutely. That's exactly what that would be. Very, very good at looking at that. All right, the black cloud that kind of hangs over you. Let's see. Oh, wow. Look, we just got the same card in the same position for two separate people. That's really interesting. So, an imbalance. And I'm going to go back to this. And like I said, it's kind of a conundrum you're in. And I apologize here. I'm just realizing some of these are getting a little fuzzy. Hold on, I'm sorry.
It's kind of a strange angle we got it at.
Yeah, but they're fuzzy. Hold on, y'all. I do apologize. Let me see. Okay, that's a little bit better. Alright. Oh. Or not. Sorry, y'all. There's a delay in the video, so...
There's like a 15-second delay.
Yeah. Alright. So, alright. I think that's a little bit better. Alright. So, I would say going back into this, with this injustice, going back in that conundrum, you have that imbalance. You really... Someone did you wrong, I would say, or something went wrong, and you're really having trouble grasping it. Like, why did they do that?
That may go back to the first card.
That's exactly what I'm referring to, yes. That's what that imbalance, I'm getting that from here with these two. And again, proximity matters in tarot readings, right? When you have two cards next to each other like that. Like, they definitely have energy that feeds off of one another. So with that positioning, that cloud over is coming, the influences, it's you definitely have that there. So yeah, I would say that what's influencing you is actually causing an issue for you today. There's an unfair situation because of something that was done to you. And you're still trying to figure out, like, why me from it, and it's weighing on you. It's pulling you back, right? But don't worry. You're going to get through it, okay? That's what it's saying there.
And sometimes forgiveness is for you and not for the other person. Sometimes it lightens it for you, and so.
Well, you said that right as I flipped this card, which is always like, you just read this card. So, right here is the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is 8 full cups. They you've at this point you see the man walking away. It's enough, and you walk away from it. And I often like to use this card and this with the symbol of the cups. You can't drink poison expecting the other person to die. Okay, I don't mean that literally, but listen to what I mean by that. You can't hang on to something and let it bother you and nag at you when it was nothing that would help you in the end. It's time to let it go and move forward. And like he just said, the forgiveness is for you, not them.
Anger, resentment, regret, that all hurts you. It's not affecting the other person. That's like...
They might relish on it.
Right, right.
Right? I mean, especially if some injustice was happening to you, some inequity, something that wasn't fair, and they've reaped the reward from it, and now you're holding on to this anger, perhaps, and unable to move forward from it. It's gonna keep holding you back. It's just that's what the cards are suggesting.
You need to release.
That your support is to move on, and once you move on, you're good to go. It seems. Let's see what the last card is. The Ace of Wands in reverse. So here's what I mean by the Ace of Wands in reverse. Ace of Wands typically talks about a new idea, that it's the embodiment of that proposal, that whatever it's supposed to be something new. Okay, and it's the beginning of something and starting it over. Here's the thing, though. With it being reversed, instead of being nothing new, it's going to be something revisited and brought up like it's brand new again. So, once the forgiveness is issued here, it's saying that you're ready to look back at something with a different perspective, perhaps, maybe with a renewed spirit, and really have an appreciation for it, and finally, rationally can move on from it. This is a very rational card, in the sense that you're actually able to break free from it. That one sword is cutting through everything else. Okay? So, this is actually another good reading here. It's just, I'm so sorry.
Seems like their situation is going to be refreshed for them.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that's a very good way of putting that. Your situation will be completely refreshed, right? And you're going to be very, very invigorated and ready to start anew. That's what the Page of Wands is there. And I hope that made sense for you, Taylor. I really do. And I do apologize if I went a little too critical. But again, I'm just reading what the card just saying here. Awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. And thank you for joining us this evening. All right, Sheila, I will read for you next. And again, I'm just doing some simple pop card readings this evening, when I'm doing just very basic. And I really do hope y'all enjoy these this evening. Just give me 1 second again to reshuffle. And really mix these cards. I like to make sure that they are very well mixed. And when I get off of this call, I'm going to go back and research what was the name of that study that I read about mixing cards. When I was writing my book, Ace of the Cards, and I was doing some research on best shuffling techniques. And I was reading some academic journals and came across this one on best shuffling techniques. And that's what it said, shuffle 7 times and make sure that you always flip over one side. And I cannot remember the name of it. To go back and look.
Sheila said, "Oh my gosh."
Well, I hope everyone's having a good evening this Sunday. I know if you're in South Louisiana, it is very hot today, but it is a beautiful day, right? It was just sunny, not a cloud in the sky. We went to the park earlier, and there were baseball games going, and people were playing basketball, playing frisbee golf, just really, really enjoying the outdoors. And I love beautiful days like this, especially when we've had such terrible weather that has come through lately with these storms and such. And I just hope it doesn't get too hot, because I am concerned about the weather in hurricanes.
I'm feeling like after COVID, people are finally starting to enjoy themselves again.
Yeah, I think so. I think it took a lot. I think it really, really did. All right. I'm going to shuffle these just one time. Like I said, I like to make sure you get a good shuffle. All right, so here we go. So again, it's going to be a very a smaller 5-card spread, but we're going to do past, future influences, what's hanging over you, what's supporting you, and then the results in the center. So in our past, we have some indecisiveness. Okay, you've had some opportunities that came forth, and you couldn't figure out what was right for you. Okay. There was that one shiny thing you always kind of wanted, but was a little bit out of reach. Okay, so that's what's kind of influencing you today, right? You've had some options. You were very indecisive, not sure exactly what you wanted to choose. There was that one thing you wanted, but it just seemed too far out of reach for you. And you really didn't go for that one. You went for something else instead. So that's what this card typically means. Here's all the cups, all the different things being presented to you. They're all pouring down on you all at once. But there's one that you don't know about. It's nice. It's hidden, but it's nice shiny thing that you know that you're trying to get to, but it's just you can't get to it. It's just not for you. So that's what's kind of driving you. That is your influencer. For our future card, wow, this is actually really good here. You have that shiny thing. You've reached that goal. So just know that what seems out of reach for you, and even though you may have taken different paths and been led astray, that you're actually going to reach your goal. Don't give up hope. Okay? Never give up hope, because it looks like it is coming and you're going to get it. It's going to be a little bit slow coming. Okay? It's not going to be a very quick thing coming for you, but it's gonna be there. Okay, let's see what's kind of weighing over you. Look at this, y'all. I've done 3 readings, and 3 readings in a row. Justice card.
And you shuffled thoroughly.
Yes. Justice card comes up in the same spot 3 times in a row. This is insane. Alright, well, this time it's in reverse. Mm-hmm. So, for it being kind of the dark cloud hanging over you in reverse, I would say that, again, there is some imbalance because of being of a bad position. But it being in reverse, I would say that it wasn't too bad. Okay?
Can I say something?
Yeah, what's that?
I'm kind of feeling like, I don't know, it's just prodding at me. I'm kind of feeling like you're maybe looking to the future and not fully in the now, and looking at things might be pretty good in the now, but you're caught up on trying to reach something and not you're kind of ignoring the good things now.
That's a really, really good thing. That's actually a really, really good point of view. And I would say that with justice as an inverted imbalance, I would say that there's an imbalance in your life, and that's it. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's maybe time, right? When you mentioned that she's, it seems that she's not appreciating the now, perhaps you're planning for the future, but spending too much time doing that and not appreciating what you have right now while it's here.
Because you mentioned earlier, there's this shiny thing you're after, and you already have it. And you may not realize that whether you have it now or it's coming, you've already got it. Yeah.
It looks like she's got lots of good things. It's when I think of the cups upside down, again, I think of things pouring out. When it's all these things pouring out, they're like basically falling onto you. You've been showered with good things. Okay, you have been. It seems that one is better than the others, and you're reaching for it, and you're gonna get it. But it seems that in that reaching, you may be focusing too much on that one and ignoring the others. Like you said, the other.
Keep in mind, none of this is personal. We don't know your personal, stuff you have going on. So this really is just a intuitive.
Just what the cards are saying.
Right.
That's it. Again, this could just be images on paper and may not mean anything at all in the end. I do not claim to be psychic, but we're just reading the cards on their historical meanings and their psychological implications. So let's look at what's supporting you as an individual. Okay, so This card, I typically call this the Nightmare card. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer to the camera. This is the Nine of Swords. And the reason it's called a Nightmare card is because this individual is literally waking up from a nightmare. Right? Like the swords is the mental. You're caught up in your head and you're having trouble getting past something to the point that you're actually dreaming about it. Okay? And it's causing some anguish. Maybe it's causing you to lose sleep and those kind of things. The thing with this card, though, it's actually connected to so many other things. And I know it's hard to see on this camera, and it's so minute, it's actually even hard to see with a magnifying glass. All the zodiac signs are on this blanket. There's also roses, there's lilies, there's this card is connected. It's trying to say it's connected to the universe. Okay? So it's that consciousness that's so at the time that the cards were drawn, the focus here was that when you slept, you joined the collective consciousness every time you slept. And knowledge, a hidden knowledge was revealed to you in your sleep. Which is why sometimes it was nonsensical because you're trying to navigate it but really couldn't. But sometimes it makes perfect sense, right? And it kind of just depends on your day and so on and so forth. But what this is, with it being a support for you, is it saying that your worries that you have actually led you to plan correctly. Okay, so let me make sense with that. You anticipate easily, and that has led you to avoid bad things, right? And I hope I'm not being too vague with that, but it's kind of like
Her senses are fine tuned.
her senses are fine tuned, but not only that, she's also very rational. Like, for example, make all the kids go pee before they get in the car to go on a trip because you know someone's going to have to stop to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you pre-plan. You're really, really good at getting your ducks in a row. So far, I just want to say that too. This reading has been really good in that sense that you know what you're going toward. You know how to get it. You're very, very focused. The problem that we've both kind of seen here with this justice inverted is perhaps maybe you're so driven that you kind of forgot to stop and look around and smell the flowers. If that makes any sense sometimes. Sometimes we're so driven that we want to get to something and we just, it's out of reach because we forgot those other things that actually make life worth living in a sense.
And
right?
also don't get discouraged if it's not coming in your time, because it's not always our time that things come.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Center card. Ooh, this is interesting. So we have the Fool card here as a result. So
Which is my archetype.
the Fool is, he has no structure. Okay? He just kind of goes with the flow. And I think that's what's kind of telling us here that we've seen with everything else. Sometimes it's okay not to control everything in that sense. Not to make sure every little thing is in its place. Not,
That goes along with enjoying the process, enjoying your life,
Yes.
making sure you're enjoying the moment, because don't take it too seriously, don't get too rigid with things.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree. Now, don't be the fool in the sense that you're so oblivious to anything that you're going to walk off a cliff.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening there. But exactly what Keegan said. Make sure that you still are connected with things and able to move on, but really, really look at the situation at hand and see that life is beautiful, life is great. Don't lose sight of that. Don't let the troubles, don't let the concerns where you're trying to get to be the only thing that's driving you.
It's okay to take time for yourself, and it's not going to negatively influence the outcome.
100% agree on that. See, you're getting really good at this. Really, really good at this. Sheila, I hope that made a lot of sense to you. I really do. And I know it's like 7:50 this evening. I really don't have time to do another reading because I'm going to get off right at 8 this evening. But for those who are interested, I did start up another Facebook group. It's called Gree, okay, by the Cajun Conjuror, if those are interested. And this little Facebook group, I am really working on sharing my knowledge and hoping others share their knowledge as well. Not only about, traditional Louisiana spirituality, but also spirituality in general. Just really, learning from one another and really able to connect with those things that are, beyond this realm, beyond the mundane. And like I said, I'm really, really hoping for others to share their knowledge as well. And because I really feel that I've held back a lot.
And I think your thing right now is all perspectives are welcome. Right?
Yes, all perspectives. That's my other big thing. All perspectives are welcome. I don't care what background you come from. I don't care if you are, any culture, any religion, how you identify, whatever. Your opinion is important, even if it completely disagrees with my own. But you know what? As I posted earlier, I posted a picture of, what's his name? Now I'm trying to think of his name. Shoot. Oh, hold on. Let me get this off my face. My fault. Hold on, y'all. There we go. All right, there we go. Now it's off my face. What was I just saying?
Said that somebody we're talking about the perspectives.
Oh, the perspective. Yes. So earlier I posted a picture in the Gree group about a picture of Prince William, and it's taken from two different perspectives. One is from the side, where he's holding his hand, and it looks like he's shooting a bird at someone. But at the exact same time, a different photographer took a different picture from a 90 degrees difference, and it's showing he's actually showing just 3 fingers. I think counting to, showing that he need 3 of something. And that's very, very important because that is how we see the divine, how we see spirituality. We all have a different opinion. We all have a different perspective on something. And there's no... Is there a right perspective? I don't want to say there is because it's kind of in the moment, right? Because the perspective of the person said, well, I saw him shoot the bird. Well, according to their truth and from their perspective, that was completely right. However, from the other perspective, he was showing 3 fingers. He was counting to 3. And that shows that they were also right by seeing that 3 fingers. And we're seeing the exact same image, even though it looks like it was a completely different thing. So I think that's very important when it comes to spirituality, that we definitely see those different perspectives of others and make sure that we embrace those different ideals that others have, because we are all unique. We all have different experiences, and our different experiences make us who we are, right? And our connection with the divine really makes us who we are too, even for those who have absolutely no connection. They see things a lot differently, but we're maybe looking at the exact same thing, and there's no right or wrong. Where the wrong comes in is through judgment, and by saying, well, that's evil, that's wrong, that's this, right?
And some people will, I'm not saying anybody in specific, I find a lot of times we want to make a judgment on people and then rule them off. If they were wrong once, we ignore them for the rest of the time. That doesn't give people the opportunity to grow together.
Yeah, and I think we saw it earlier with the card reaction, right? And we all have that reaction. I have that reaction. I reacted badly earlier. Our initial reaction isn't always correct, right? And when I say the word correct, I'm not saying we're right or wrong. But what I'm saying is we typically react to something without completely hearing the other side too. Like, it's good to be inquisitive and ask before reacting, I would say. Just to make sure we're not reading it wrong.
A lot of things boil down to misunderstanding a lot of the time.
Absolutely. You know, the thing is that language is a very limited thing.
Especially when it's being typed on a computer.
Yeah, because it's missing body language, and body language actually tells us more about what's going on than, just, a written language. But still, written language is, honestly, it's 100% physical, too. It only can describe a physical experience.
Mm-hmm.
How do you describe something that you can't see? In terms of visuals. And that's how religious experiences use so many metaphors, because we can't comprehend it, because our language doesn't have the language for it.
Yeah.
So until we invent that language, and I think maybe the cards might be that language, that kind of reveal those things. All right, y'all. I know it's 7:56. It's a couple of minutes early, but we're gonna sign off for tonight. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you, Keegan.
Thank you for letting me come on.
Yeah, Keegan's going to be joining us more frequently, and now that he's learned to read the cards as well, and maybe he will be reading the cards for y'all soon as well. So we're going to be doing this every Sunday, so if you didn't get a reading this evening, you can log in next Sunday. And again, if you want a private session, you can book me pretty much any time this summer. Go ahead and send me a message, and we can work the details out.
Oh, I'm seeing someone here. Saucy, hi. Sorry if you missed us this time. Catch us on next Sunday.
Y'all have a good night.